Libraries are places where ideas and information live. You can visit and learn what you need to make your life better. There are no tests to pass and no grades given, so you can't fail when you use the library to find out how to make or do something. This is one of the ways that libraries are unique, sharing freely the facts and details necessary for a huge range of do-it-yourself endeavors, promoting the idea that people can learn and do if they have opportunity and encouragement. This is why Eastern Counties Regional Library wanted to capture the growing phenomena of gardens at libraries in Nova Scotia. How to grow food was historically taught by doing, was information that was shared verbally by families and communities. This tradition has been lost, which is a serious problem when so many people don't have enough fresh vegetables to eat to be healthy. Nothing more tangibly illustrates the benefits of learning and sharing than a garden. This natural connection makes it worthwhile exploring how they are finding a purpose and a place at libraries. The how-to of gardening may be basic, but it is not unimportant. It is fundamental. Gardening is literally the knowledge that feeds us.
Since I planted some of the gardens here last year, I had more knowledge about planting this year, and I found it easier to plant vegetables.
Hey, the garden was put in last year by the Bridgewater Community Garden Network and was planted by library staff. And this year we received a grant from TD Friends of the Environment to have a gardening program for kids ages 5 and up. I decided to plant a pizza and salad garden because I was thinking of food that's appealing to kids.
Welcome to the Port Hawkesbury Branch Pizza Garden. This garden was created for the Summer Learning Challenge, and it was planted by 10 to 12 young children between the ages of 7 and 10 with my help along with Erin's.
The idea behind these programs is to get kids involved with food and learning about their food and making healthy choices starting from a young age. My goal was specifically to get kids excited about gardening and just for it to be enjoyable for them.
I love gardening.
New Glasgow flourishes!
Hi, I'm Tabitha Coleman, and this is Burma Marshall. Hello. And we're with New Glasgow's Communities in Bloom, and today we're here to talk about the Library Learning Garden. The Library Learning Garden started with a visit to the Sherbrooke Library, which I happened to be visiting during work, and I brought the idea back to the New Glasgow Communities in Bloom Committee, and we discussed the idea of starting something here at our library. And so today we're here to tell you where we are with the library and our vision in moving forward. So Burma, maybe you could discuss a little bit about planting the seeds and the idea behind what we picked to plant in the garden?
Sure. Well, at one of our meetings, we decided we wanted to get if we're working with the library, the children have to be involved. Because once, children enjoy doing those things. So we thought the best way to do it was to have the children grow the seeds in the school while they were in school. And when the date came for us to select a date to plant, then we had the children come down to the library with their plants, and each one got to plant their own plant, so they knew that, this was part of their, it belonged to them, so they were part of it. And it was quite exciting to see the children. They were very excited about being able to plant their own seeds and see them growing, and then, so that's how we started with the garden.
Right. So we engaged with 2 schools, local schools, and we hope this is our first year with the garden, and our vision long-term is to include more community members and engaging community members to be a part of the garden, where everyone can benefit from an urban garden setting, and also to help educate that you can plant in a small space, and it really doesn't matter how large the space is. And we would also like to see gardens like this at other local libraries in the future.
Yes, I think it's a great way to get children interested in even coming and pick a book about gardening, because once you show them and they realize that, hey, I'm growing my own food, this is something that I did, and I think it gives them ownership to the garden.
Hi, I'm Sister Johnson, and this is Sister Taylor. We're both missionaries serving from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And one of the things as missionaries is we like to volunteer and help out in the communities. And I love volunteering because we're able to see the good that we're able to do in a community that is far from our home. And we learn to love the people here, and that's one of the great things about volunteering with the gardens.
It's been really great because we got to help plant. We got to help the little kids plant. And so it's been really great because we got to see it from the beginning and to see it progressing. So when it started out from all the little kids planting, and now we get to pick the harvest and see where it goes and to see all the people that it's benefiting. It's really great because I'm from Utah and she's from Idaho. And so I love this idea, and when we go home, I'm definitely going to make sure to try to inspire it into to my hometown, because I think it's a really great idea.
Hi, my name's Cheryl Young, and I work with the town of New Glasgow, and I'm also on the Communities in Bloom Committee as a staff resource. I just think it's a great partnership with the library and having the students come down and the planting, and just to see what you can do in the middle of town. Like, this is accessible to anybody. If you live on the west side, you can walk across the bridge and come pick some vegetables and read a book, and I just think it's terrific for the town. Like, you don't have to commit yourself to be part of a big project. If you're a shy person, you can come in and pick a few vegetables and talk to people and learn how it happened, and I just think it's awesome for the community.
I'm Debbie Clark, and I'm a clerk here at New Glasgow Public Library. It's really cool to see the public come in, and some of them are really scared to go and just pick out of the garden and that kind of thing, but we have a basket sitting on the counter, so it's really cool to see seniors or parents come in and they'll grab a bag of lettuce, and that they're going to go with this, oh great, we'll make this for salad for supper kind of thing. And then you'll see a couple kids come in at lunchtime, 6-year-old kids come in and grab a bag of beans, and you'll see them munching the beans down the sidewalk. So it's really cool. And it's a perk for us as well, not gonna lie. Like, it's awesome having the volunteers and that kind of thing, but when I get to go out at lunchtime and water the garden out in the sunshine, it's wicked. Like, it's just a nice break for the day, and you get to see people walking by and say hi, and it's nice to be able to look after something here in the middle of town.
And we hope to have workshops this fall. We have a lot of knowledge, like on our Communities in Bloom committee alone, but there's a lot of knowledge in the community, so to bring people in and teach people.
Gardening is a lot easier than people make it out to be, because I'm definitely not super great at gardening, but once you just get in there and get your hands dirty, it's a lot easier to do, and really anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Even you.
Yeah.
Hi, today we're at the Cyril Ward Memorial Library in Guysborough, and we're going to be talking about their gardens and specifically literacy greens. There's a lot of greens, but there's a lot of other things in the garden too. So we're going to be talking a little bit about those today. Today, with such an emphasis on real food, it's really wonderful to have a resource in our community that we can see real food growing. And when I come to the garden and pick some of these greens, anytime I have guests for dinner, I usually come down and pick what I call literacy greens, and we make a literacy salad. And it's so nice to be able to serve a salad or serve something on my table where I know where it came from. And these beautiful greens were grown just outside the door here. We have Swiss chard, and look at the size of the radishes. We have a lettuce here and arugula, and arugula is such a great green because you can eat it raw or cooked. It's wonderful in pasta. Just throw a handful in when your pasta dish is finished with a little butter and seasoning. And here we have these beautiful greens, a mix of different greens. And you know that the garden is organic. You know that it's not treated with anything that's going to make you ill. All right, one evening when I was serving some of these greens to my guests for dinner, I was trying to explain where they came from. And since they came from the library, I call them literacy greens. I go into the library and I find different books that I can use to pick recipes from. And it's always fun calling it my literacy salad because I know where they came from. I know the young ladies who work in the garden on a regular basis to plant them and weed them, and they're so devoted to have these growing. It's a learning experience for the people doing the gardens. It's a learning experience. It brings literacy to our community. Experimenting with the greens. They're going to be looking at possibly doing some winter gardening there. And so anytime that you're reaching for a book to learn how to do something, it's a literacy thing. So, literacy salad. Please come. Literacy greens, literacy garden.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Tilsley, and we are here at the Cody and Tompkins Memorial Library in Margaree Forks, and we're going to talk a little bit today about seed saving, some of the reasons why we do it, and some of the techniques. Farmers have been saving seeds for millennia. It's part of our agricultural heritage. It's quite easy to do, or at least to get started. You can get as complicated as you want with it. What I'm going to show you today is some of the methods of seed saving and some of the different ways we handle different crops. Some of the easiest to start with are what we call self-pollinators, things like peas, beans, and with those, you're basically saving the part that we eat. So here I've got a bunch of pea vines that are partly dried, and that's basically all you're doing to save these seeds, is you're waiting until the pods are nice and dry, and then you're saving the peas. And there you have some seeds saved for your crop for next year. You can do the same thing with beans. These are a tiger eye bean, and these ones, the same thing. You wait till the pods are very crispy, crunchy. You can shell them by hand, or you can throw, if you've got a lot of the pods, you can throw them into a feed bag, stomp on them with your feet a bit to crush the pods, and then winnow the seeds off of what we call the chaff, the weeds, the sticks, the bits that are left. Another reason that we do seed saving is because of conserving biodiversity. If you look, these are beautiful, called a tiger eye bean, but here in this container and in the milk bottle, we've got just a few examples of some of the dried beans that are available. Nature has given us so much diversity, so by saving these seeds, we're not just sticking to the few that are available commercially, but we're saving some of that diversity as well. Another reason.
So this year we added in 2 more beds to the library gardens in Guysborough. And in the first one here we have peas, and our gardens in general have become quite overgrown. But the peas it's pretty exciting because, as you can see, they are ready to go. We've put up some wiring, just kind of crude, but you don't need anything really fancy to help the peas grow on. And unfortunately, we haven't been encouraging them to grow, but we need to. And basically all you have to do is just try to tuck their little tendrils in here, and they actually are surprisingly sticky and will start to grow up, and because they need the support. So I'm just going to poke a few of them through here, and any kind of chicken wire or wire will do. And they just kind of go through and they'll start to attach themselves, and you just kind of feed them in and hope that they take, like this one did over here, and pull them through. So we already have peas growing on here, which is fantastic, and they're ready to go to eat. And I like to snip them off, but you just kind of feel around and see whether or not they are kind of chubby, and then you just cut them off, and they'll start to they'll replenish, and you just keep trying to poke them through the wire to give them a support, because peas are fairly heavy. But this is a beautiful looking pea that's grown, and it's ready to go, and it's a sugar snap pea, so it doesn't have to be taken out of the pod, but it can just be eaten as is.
When you pick, if you're not used to picking, I know some people are kind of shy about picking from the garden. Don't pull the whole plant up. Reach down and break it off close to the bottom, and the plant will continue to produce. You can take all kinds of them, and after the last rain we have, it's just flourishing. So you can also pick up fabulous books if you're not sure what to do with it. It's nice to have a recipe, but it's even better when you can open a book and be inspired by something that you maybe haven't cooked before, and you say, oh, I think I'll try that, and the greens are just outside the door. Anyway, please come.
So lots of weeds in the garden, and that's not a bad thing, just really healthy, but we want to get them out of here because they'll start to crowd out any vegetables that we do have. And because it's the middle of August, I think there are many things in the garden that have already gone to seed. In other words, they're past when you would harvest them for eating, and we can replant a lot of things.
With tomatoes, when you cut into a ripe tomato, and you're slicing it for your sandwich or whatever, you've got the seeds, but they've all got that little gel and goo around them, and that helps prevent the seed from germinating before it's supposed to. So what we have to do when we're seed saving is we're taking all of that gel and goo and seeds out. And you can use the pulp for something else. You can throw it into your pasta sauce or salad or whatever, but you're taking the seed out of the ripe tomato, saving that gel, and then you're putting it in a warm place for a few days to ferment. And what that does is it breaks down that gel coating. It helps prevent disease in the seeds. If the plant was at all diseased, it helps with that. And it also helps with storage. So after a few days of fermenting in a warm, lovely place, you're going to get some mold growing on the top, and you're going to get the viable seeds sinking to the bottom and the rest coming off the top. And then it's just a matter of rinsing to get the clean and viable seed that we need. So we're just going to put some water. And you sort of swish it around a little bit, let the seeds sink. Gently, we pour off, and then just into a kitchen strainer. And you can see from what we started with, in the unfermented with the gel and the goo and the juice around it, to the seed. And then it's just a matter of spreading that out, popping it on top of your refrigerator or somewhere that's fairly warm, and you're going to let it dry. You're going to come back and stir them every few days, make sure they're super dry. Moisture is fatal to seeds. It's what they need to grow, but if you're trying to store seeds and save seeds, you want them as dry as possible. So we would leave those to dry until you can break them, not bend them. And you would do the same with the squash and the same with the beets. You want them really hard and dry.
So these were radishes that we planted earlier in the summer. We planted them in June, and they've really kind of gone crazy, but as you can see, there still are some beautiful radishes in here. They've just gone a little, they're kind of out of control. I think at this point what we're going to do is, that's a good sized radish, totally edible. It's split, but it's totally edible. It looks like a beautiful radish. It doesn't even have any little nibbles out of it. And I think what we'll do is we'll end up pulling all of these radishes out of here that have grown too big, and we will put seeds back in because I think it's cool enough in the evenings that radishes will start to grow, and we should be able to get some more, I think probably by, well, in a couple of weeks. Radishes grow very quickly. So there are tons of radishes in here. So I think what we'll do, because people haven't been picking them, is we'll take them in the library, and if anybody wants to come in and have some radishes to take home, then they can take them.
So, hi, my name is Shelley LeBlanc. I'm a dietitian with Primary Health Care. I work with people who have chronic disease, who are at risk for chronic disease, or who support or care for somebody with chronic disease. I also work with people of all ages, from young to old, of different ethnicities, cultures, backgrounds, different languages, who live in different areas of the county, as well as people who are of different income levels. So people who can afford food on a regular basis, but then those who need assistance for meeting their nutritional needs on a monthly basis. So one way to prevent or manage chronic disease is to eat fruits and vegetables as part of your healthy diet. So we recommend, as dietitians, we recommend eating fresh, canned, or frozen fruits or vegetables whenever you can. But of course, eating the fresh, locally grown vegetables is definitely cheaper, very accessible, and provides a lot of nutrition. So a lot of people don't really know what to do with vegetables. They do know that vegetables need to be a big part of their day, but what to do with them, how to cook them, and what kind of recipes to use them in is something that a dietitian can definitely help with. Vegetables are low in fat and are low in calories, which may be important to you or it may not be important to you, but bottom line is that they are necessary for a healthy diet to prevent chronic disease. Vegetables provide us with vitamin C, which helps promote healing and as well helps our immune system to prevent illness. They promote folate, which helps prevent neural tube defects, which is important for pregnant ladies, and as well as maintaining the health of your red blood cells. Helps increase your fiber intake, which is really important for reducing cholesterol and maintaining your blood sugars. And that also helps with your digestive tract and keeping it on track. So vegetables are also full of antioxidants, which helps protect and as well lower your risk of diseases, such as disease of the heart and of cancers. So all in all, vegetables are very important. And what better place to get your vegetables than your own garden, a community garden, or like this garden here at your local library.
So my name's Dave Mabey, and I'm coordinating the project called Get the Town Growing in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. And we want to grow as much food as possible that is visible to as many people as possible, because we want people to walk down the street and see food. And flowers are nice too, and we haven't eliminated the flowers in the town, but we have added a lot of food. And you can see some examples behind me, some tomatoes, some kale, some strawberries, and we have a couple pear trees, and the list is quite long actually. When I asked if I could put in a garden, I just wanted about maybe 5 feet of the garden to plant some vegetables so that we could have a demonstration garden. And when I asked for it, they said, well, you can have the whole garden. And so it ended up being almost 200 feet long of garden, and plus a little plot over by the theater, which we did with shade herbs. And so it ended up being a lot bigger than I expected. And I got more support from town council, for example, and from local nurseries and everybody way more support than I really imagined I would get, and we ended up getting almost $4,000 in funding. And so all of a sudden, this idea to plant a few vegetables outside the library to convince people that it's a good idea to eat fresh food and grow your own turned into this enormous project. And there's even talk next year about expanding it to the mall as a huge food park. And so that all depends, of course, on funding and final decisions. But this is the idea that it could really become something quite large. We wanted to do this for three main reasons. One is food security. And so what food security means to me partly is allowing people to have access to food, right? But that's not really enough, because if you have access to food but you don't know what to do with it, then you're no further ahead. So the second part of what we want to do is education. And so education in the form of free open workshops on how to process the food. Of course, that's hopefully going to be expanded to the high school eventually, because what we really want to do is we want to show high school students that that this is an option, that market gardening and growing food is actually an option for you as a career choice, because that's when people start really thinking, you know, what am I going to do after this? So the third piece is a sense of abundance. So you're walking down the street, you see food, it automatically gives you a sense of abundance. Flowers give you a sense of calm and peace, and that's very nice, and we want that as well. But I really think that vegetables and fruit give you a sense beyond that, that is this sense of abundance, that there's lots of food around, that there's no shortage, right? And so when you get that sense, then I think it just makes people feel lighter, makes people feel happier. And so that's another less tangible piece of the project. But I think that part is definitely working. We watch people walk by this garden and you can see it in their faces, you know.
So I'm here at the New Glasgow Library with a colleague of sorts, Chief Librarian Eric Stackhouse. Thanks for joining me, Eric.
Hi, Laura.
And we're here to talk about what the heck gardens have to do with libraries anyway. So,
well, I think it's all about libraries being community gathering places where people go to, they learn new things, they experience new things, and that's where libraries are heading in the future. They've taken quite a change over the last, I would say, 20 years, and now that we're becoming more of these, one of the last community places within an area. I think these type of activities, such as learning the importance of growing your own food and other things like that, are the things that the public wants. They want those type of things, those experiences, and they want to share them. And the public library is the perfect place to do that, because we've been doing it all along.
Well, you know, I want to pick up on what you said there, because sharing, I do think, is our real expertise.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's not just about the books, it's about sharing knowledge and sharing community and activity, and in this case sharing vegetables too, the results of the gardening activity.
Well, that's a great point, because really the nonfiction collection or the information collection, so much of it, really people just need some ideas. They need a bit of help getting going, and then I think they just need those sort of bit of imagination. And what those books, having a well-selected collection, really sort of inspires you to do things. So if you're combining that collection with actually doing something within the confines of the place of a library, even if it's outside in the gardens and growing, like those are two very powerful things coming together. And I think that's why people love this kind of thing, and why they really, really appreciate a place like a library doing it.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of good comments from public. Just they're happy. They just like it, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even really know why. So I'm definitely glad we could meet and chat about this.
Yeah. Thanks, Laura. No, it was a great idea, and thanks for coming up with it.
I don't know about that.